So, Hare Krishna devotees, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shrunivadi Pashada Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so last week we we have been discussing this Shiksha Guru, how he is how he starts giving starts the process of Diksha, but then he becomes Diksha Guru by the process is 434, Bhagavad Gita 434, where tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. These three components come by asking submissive questions, by doing service and inquire, of course, and by surrender. And surrender means to Guru Ashraya means we have been looking at Nectar of Devotion, the first principle, Guru Ashraya, four aspects of Sakshad Hari, accepting Yasya Prasadat, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and Yasya Deve Parabhaktir. So these are the four aspects of surrender to the Guru, Guru Ashraya, by which this is the Tadvidi Pranipatena 434. And so this process then gets the Diksha process going, by which the Krishna consciousness is slowly from the heart, Krishna reveals, depending on the main thing is the pleasure of the spiritual master, Yasya Prasadat, Bhagavad Prasada. So now the question has been raised by many that what is causeless mercy? Pradyumna Prabhu was raising, and then it was a very nice discussion we had. What is causeless mercy in this whole process? So let's hear from Srila Prabhupada what he's saying a few places, and then let's have a very good discussion. Let me pull up where he talks about the causeless mercy. The first is Nectar of Devotion, 17th chapter. That's because we tend to, at least I tend to, yeah. Okay. Would somebody like to read? Yeah.
Yeah, bro, shall I read?
Yes.
Okay. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Elevation in this stage of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. One way is constant association with pure devotees. The other way is by the special mercy of Krishna or by the mercy of a pure devotee of Krishna. Elevation to the ecstatic stage of life is generally attained through association with pure devotees, while elevation to that stage by the special mercy of Krishna or his pure devotee is very rare. The purport is that one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees so that there will be certainty in raising oneself to that ecstatic position. In a special case, of course, there is a special favor from Krishna, and although we should always expect that, we should not sit idly and simply wait for Krishna's special mercy. The regular duty must be performed. It is just as when sometimes it is found that a person who never attends school or college may be recognized as a great scholar or an honorary degree from great universities may be offered to him, but this does not mean that one should avoid school and expect to automatically receive an honorary degree from some university. Similarly, One should devoutly execute the regulative principles of devotional service and at the same time hope for Krishna's favor or for his devotees' favor. An example of raising to this stage of ecstatic love by executing the regulative principles of devotional service is given in the life story of Narad, who is prescribed, who is described to Vyasdev in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is described to Vyasdev in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad tells there of his previous life and how he developed to the stage of ecstatic love. He was engaged in the service of great devotees and used to hear their talks and songs. Because he had the opportunity to hear these pastimes and songs of Krishna from the mouths of pure devotees, he became very attracted mm, within his heart. Because he had become so eager to hear these topics, he gradually developed within himself an ecstatic love for Krishna. This ecstatic love is prior to the pure love of Krishna. Because in the next verse, Narad confirms that by gradual process of hearing from the great sages, he developed love of Godhead. In this connection, Narad continues to say in the first canto, fifth chapter, 28th verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. First, I passed my days in the association of great sages during the rainy autumn season. Every morning and evening, I heard them while they were singing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and thus gradually my heart became purified. As soon as I heard them with great attention, the influence of the modes of material ignorance and passion disappeared, and I become firmly fixed in devotional service to the Lord. These are practical examples of how one can develop to the stage of ecstatic love simply by the association of pure devotees. It is essential, therefore, that one constantly associate with pure devotees who are engaged morning and evening in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, one will get the chance to purify his heart and develop this ecstatic. What is the secret of hearing and chanting? A professional speaker cannot impress transcendental ecstasy within the hearts of the listeners. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of Lord is speaking, he has the potency to inject spiritual life within the audience. One should therefore seek the association of such pure, unalloyed devotees, and by such association and service, a neophyte devotee will will certainly develop attachment, love, and devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So thank you. So this is this part, no, of how to raise one. This is so interesting that this is closely matching what we have been reading from CC Adilila, first chapter, 35th verse purport. If you all remember, we are talking about how Srila Jiva Goswami starts talking about explaining Diksha process as association of a pure devotee, how to become attached to him, serve him, hear him. That was the whole first, second paragraphs of that verse, which is the most important verse about Diksha, understanding Diksha and Diksha Guru Tattva. So there, Srila Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha 202, which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati quotes and then Srila Prabhupada quotes, there he explains Bhagavata Vidhi of initiation, uh, this exact thing what he's talking about, and with the same examples, including This well, he doesn't talk about Narad Muni specifically, but he talks about 1 to 16, 1 to 17, the Bhagavad Dharma discourse, the Bhagavata Dharma, Bhagavata, what is it? Bhagavat, Markine Bhagavata Dharma. Srila Prabhupada, he talks about coming to, when he came to Boston Harbor, then he wrote the poem. That same import he is talking about here, association with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada in which he again quotes here. So I just was connecting them, that Narad Muni's example is very apt and it connects everywhere. That his example of raising oneself to the regulative, through the regulative devotional service. The second verse that Srila Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha 202 he quotes here, these are the same verses. These are the same block of verses which are talking about how pure devotee's words and by his association one can raise oneself. So which we understand, this regulative principle is not just a mechanical process of following the rules, or because you follow you would achieve. It is dependent on the mercy, or not the mercy, the pleasure. The exact word is pleasure. Yasya prasadad, the prasada, the mercy, the pleasure of the spiritual master, one gets the pleasure of, or the mercy of Krishna. Well, the mercy is the right word here. So now here, um, there is, let's talk about this. How is this anyway? Why don't we discuss, we hear more from Srila Prabhupada, and then we come to this topic about mercy and pleasure, which is exactly the point of discussion. The second part is about raising oneself through Kripa Siddhi. This, someone else wants to read this? Balram Prabhu should read it. He is the recipient of Kripa. John Prabhu, you want to read it? You are on mute.
I did. I was saying I would like to read, and I was asking if that's okay, and nobody was answering. And I said, "Well," and then you said Balaram, so I thought, yeah. So we'll start here in the Padma Purana, right?
Yeah.
In the Padma Purana, there is the story of a neophyte devotee who, in order to raise himself to the ecstatic platform, danced all night to invoke the Lord's grace upon him. Sometimes, however, it is found that without undergoing any devotional process, one all of a sudden develops devotion for Lord Krishna. This sudden development of a devotional attitude in a person must be understood as a special mercy of Krishna or of his devotee. This apparently accidental development of ecstatic feelings through the causeless mercy of Krishna can be divided into three groups: simply by speaking, simply by glancing, and simply by good wishes. In the Naradiya Purana, there is a statement about development of ecstatic love simply by speaking. Lord Krishna said to Narada, "O best of the Brahmanas, I wish that you may develop unalloyed devotional service to me, which is full of transcendental bliss and all auspiciousness." End quote. In the Skanda Purana, there is a statement about developing ecstatic love towards Krishna simply by glancing. It is stated there, when the inhabitants of Jangala province saw the personality of Godhead Krishna, they were so stricken with feeling that they could not withdraw their glance from him. End quote. As far as heartfelt wishes are concerned, There is a statement in the Sukha Samhita where Narada tells Srila Vyasadeva, "You have a son who is the greatest devotee of the personality of Godhead, and I can observe that without any following of the regulative principles of devotional service, he is already enriched with many of the symptoms achieved by the execution of devotional service after many, many births." End quote. As for ecstatic love of Krishna, there is a statement in the seventh canto, fourth chapter, 26th verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Narada addresses King Yudhishthir. My dear quote, my dear king, it is very difficult to describe the character of Prahlad. He developed a natural attraction for Krishna, and whatever I can explain about his character will simply be an arrangement of words. His actual character is impossible to describe. End quote. This means Narada himself admitted that the natural development of Prahlad's ecstatic love was by the grace of Lord Krishna. The natural attraction for Krishna on the part of Prahlad was developed simply by the mercy of Narada. When Prahlad Maharaj was within the womb of his mother, she was being sympathetically instructed by Narada about the science of devotional service, and this and at the same time Narada was wishing that the child within the womb could also take advantage of the instructions. Because Narada, an authorized devotee and great associate of the personality of Godhead, was desiring auspiciousness for Prahlad Maharaj, he developed all the characteristics of a high grade devotee. This is called natural attraction. It is caused by the special grace of the personality of Godhead or by the special grace of a great devotee like Narada. There is a statement in the Skanda Purana wherein Parvata Muni tells Narada, quote, my dear Narada, of all saintly persons, you are so great and glorious that simply by your good wishes, a low-born hunter also has become a great elevated devotee of Lord Krishna, end quote. This ecstatic love for Krishna can be divided into four divisions, which will be described by Srila Rupa Goswami later on.
5 visions. Maybe, thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much.
Yes.
So this is wonderful. So let's come back to where Srila Prabhupada started explaining this. Here, the distinction is one is from by the association of pure devotees. So
Yes.
possible in two ways. This is the Bhagavata Vidhi, you know. Then the other one is by the special mercy of Krishna. And we will see, Srila Prabhupada explains what is that special mercy or special favor. Basically, yeah, he explains. So this one, this constant association is a mercy, a causeless mercy by which a pure devotee without cause is giving mercy of association. But then it depends on one's free will to take it up and execute his instructions and try to execute his actually try to execute his instructions and try to please him. Then again it is his mercy if he is pleased or not pleased, how much one does by which he is pleased, which is up to him. So this is the aspect of his mercy. And we are going to read it and discuss and more. And this one, the special mercy is basically Srila Krishna even disturbs the free will. Like Lord Chaitanya was glancing at devotees and giving them pure devotional service just by glancing. We hear Krishna by three ways he gives, or his pure devotees they give by, where is that? By uh, simply by speaking, simply by glancing, and simply by good wishes. You know, Srila Prabhupada writes, your ever well wisher. And so he's always, there is a component of good wishes are always going on from Srila Prabhupada. But he depending, coming in the line of our parampara, they have set up a whole regulative principles under which we practice, and we try to please him that we want to go to Krishna. Please help us.
If I
So
can interject something here, when you listen to the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, there is examples of each one of those three, how they came to Krishna consciousness, that you hear again and again from different devotees. Some people, he just looked at them and that was it. They just fell down and at his feet. Some of them were crying. You know, like all three of these examples, you hear that many times over and over from the pastimes of his direct disciples.
okay, so there is a difference in what you are saying and what and here it is written. It is a different, what I understand what you are saying is people coming to Krishna. Here, this nectar of devotion describes about how one gets to, one is already in touch with Krishna. One becomes to the ecstatic platform, almost a pure devotee.
Ah,
Difference.
okay, yeah.
So in this, the first way, no, constant association, that how does one get attracted? That is causeless. That is a fortune which is being created, which we were reading yesterday, last week. Brahman Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij, which is one is traveling around the Brahmanda in this universe, millions of Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan. But one with Bhagyavan is fortune, luck. So
Hmm, good fortune.
and one gets the Bhakti Lata Beach, one comes in touch with Krishna. And what he's saying here, here, one second. Yeah. In other words, when a pure devotee speaks, his words act upon the heart of the audience. Yeah. A professional speaker cannot impress um, service.
You're cutting out.
Yeah. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of the Lord is speaking, he has the potency to inject spiritual life.
Hmm,
You know, audience. This is Bhakti Lata
yeah.
Bij, which Srila Prabhupada buys. This is the causelessly he is giving this mercy. But once the mercy comes, that one starts, like what you were saying, people come to Krishna consciousness. Then he's saying, do like this, chant Hare Krishna mantra, follow the four regulative principles, read my books, get up in the morning. So many things for different instructions. By that, try to show me you are really wanting Krishna and not Maya. And with those good wishes, then one develops. Okay, so shall we go to the next topic? Anyone would like to discuss on this?
Well, I think, it's important that we always recognize that what Prabhupada taught us is that the only real qualification is a sincere endeavor. So we're all in different places in our spiritual path, even when we come to Krishna consciousness. And, I guess that sincere endeavor is different for all of us, depending on where we are on the path, right? But the endeavor, for that individual, whatever, like one austerity might be very difficult for one person where it's very easy for another. Let me just say it like that. But the sincere endeavor to try within your best capacity, I think, is really important to like always be aware of.
Mhm. That's right. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasad. That's the main principle. Whatever the spiritual master has told for us, there are general instructions and then there are specific instructions we try to follow. That's the and we show him that we really want to sincerely, humbly, we are trying to do it. That's all that is there.
Yeah, love is an action word, right? It's about what you do. You know, I think I read something last week. It was I don't know who exactly. I can't remember who wrote it, but they were talking about the whole thing is really based on love. I mean, Krishna's love is what really he wants us back. It's Prabhupada's love that he came here in his compassion to help all of us. And I think in return, it's the love that we show for Srila Prabhupada and Krishna that really, I think, propels our advancement. You know, it's really the whole thing is really, for me, it's really a matter of the heart. Like I see so many devotees, they know the scriptures inside out and backwards, but somehow their heart is disconnected from their head, and that feeling of love is not there for them. It's not there, and it's a little shocking for me. But I mean, I've seen this time and time again. I really saw it for the first time, very distinctly and profoundly when I took Dira Govinda's course, Sattvato course. There were devotees in that course that were chanting for and serving for their whole lives, practically since they were kids. And they were very unhappy when they came into this seminar. Like, just could barely smile. Their complexion was relatively pale, and they were very withdrawn, like this. Through the process that he took them through, it puts them in, it connects the head with the heart. And after that, they were like lit up, they were smiling, they were happy. And the really amazing thing was that I lived in Alachua, so I would see these devotees 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 months later. They were still like that, but because that connection was made for them, right, through that process. So that was the first time I really, really had a real like up close and personal look at that dynamic of if your heart's not in it, you know, you can be bowing down, but if your heart isn't bowing down, you know, with the action, then it's really not, it doesn't have a potency. And, you know, that disconnection of the heart, I think, really hampers the progress of a devotee.
Mhm. So, in this context, what do you say? Why is that? How is it related in this context of causeless
Well,
mercy?
because causeless mercy is from love. It's the only, that's where it comes from. It can't come from anywhere else. That's the root of causeless mercy is love,
Mhm.
in my view. If I'm wrong, I mean, it's discussion, right?
So, causeless love of what? Whom? By whom? And by for what? For whom?
Love of Srila Prabhupada for his sacrifices, what he did for us, and for bringing us to Krishna, love for Krishna, for, you know,
Mhm.
understanding that we're these sinful rascals, and all along he's sitting in our heart. He's witnessing, he's waiting for us to turn to him. He's guiding us, he's helping us, even though we're rascals. No matter what sinful activity we do, no matter what stage of life we're in, even if it's horrible animal body or in hellish planets, he's still there wanting us to come back. Gratitude for that, love, understanding that he does that because he loves us more than we could ever imagine, right? So that gratitude invokes love. So in that context, yes, you know,
Mhm.
love and appreciation for the devotees who are trying to help the fallen conditioned souls. Like, it's all about caring and love. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's really about for me.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that studying the scriptures isn't important. It is, and it helps us, and it helps us grow, in our understanding of Krishna. But at the basis of it, really, that's all he wants. He wants our heart.
Excellent. Anyone else wants to add to this perfect thing?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Ah,
Just one point come in my mind that just like Krishna consciousness, Krishna devotion service, everything is dynamic, nothing like static. We can just calculate. So just like we say, this question came just like we everything we conclude that what is said. Can it be possible that just like Prabhupada said these three things, or Prabhu was saying that causeless mercy means that heart. So that can also possible, or we should stick to only these things that what is that which Master Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, or dynamic that can also happen. Like Krishna is completely Swarat independent.
what he's mentioning is that the even the starting point, that is fortune, no? Bhagyavan Jeev. That is coming from love, no? Of Krishna for us.
Yes.
What he's saying is everything is dependent on love of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada for us. Now, by regulative principles, we are uncovering our heart gradually, or by to understand that love and also reciprocate that love. That is our inhibition, restriction, or our level. But that does not take away from the even the philosophical fact that it is out of love that we are getting fortunate of by getting in touch with Krishna. That pure love, irrespective of whether we are sinful, murderer, this, that, everything, whatever it is, then Krishna is full of love for us, because of which he is giving this mercy of bringing us in touch with Srila Prabhupada. Now, how much we can reciprocate with that love and uncover that understanding, that is our fortune will get more and more and more and more, and we'll reciprocate, and our life will become more and more sublime. And you know, that is the whole. How to develop that love is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. There are two ways. One is through regulative principles, and another is by directly you can just change our free will, interject within it, and bring us to that platform where we understand completely, oh my God, Krishna is loving us so much and he is so great, and reciprocate with him.
Yeah, and that following the regulative principles is a giving over of our free will, right? Because as karmis, we want to do so many nonsense things, but to draw the senses back is hard, especially from living a karmi life. That is an expression of our commitment and our seriousness to want to please Prabhupada and to show Krishna that we're serious about, wanting to serve him, be engaged in his service, be qualified to be engaged in his service, and that we love him. We want to reestablish that relationship. We want to learn how to love him properly again. That's the root. That's the main goal of all of it, isn't it?
Mhm.
I mean, what is Krishna's favorite thing? What is it? Loving exchanges with his devotees, right? That's what he lives for. That's his favorite best thing that he wants in life. I mean, that's what he does, all these wonderful pastimes. That's the real heart of the matter. It's about, wanting to have that back with him, like these pastimes that we read. And we learn that through practically serving him here through devotional service, whatever that service is. Personally, I think Pajari work is so personal and beautiful. I think it's a wonderful service. I think that really helps a devotee become closer. But there's so many things, like, I mean, whatever it is, sweeping the floor, washing the pots, you know, going out and preaching, chanting our rounds. It's all on the spiritual platform. It all matters. And it's all us giving up our material conceptions and trying to really follow what Prabhupada's telling us. And that's our showing our commitment and our that we're serious about what we want in life.
Okay, very good. Let us go forward and we'll keep discussing. Let's go forward in hearing more from Srila Prabhupada. So, the next thing where I wanted to read from is in the seventh chapter. This is the famous verse. This one, 7:14. Hmm? Would somebody like to read this? Volunteers?
If nobody jumps in, I'll do it, but I give somebody else a chance.
Uday Prabhu, you are there? We haven't heard from you yet. Mm. Hare Krishna.
You want me to read, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, please do that.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. दैवी हि एषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्य मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायाम एतां तरन्ति ते. Synonyms: Daivi, transcendental, he, certainly; Isha, this; Gunamayi, consisting of the three modes of material nature; Mama, my; Maya, energy; Duratyaya, very difficult to overcome; Mam, unto me; Eva, certainly; A, those; Prapadyante, surrender; Mayam etam, this illusory energy; Taranti, overcome; Te, they. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport: the Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of His energies and are therefore divine, due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to contamination by the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirms this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyan, Mayenam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Another meaning of guna is rope. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound, because the bound cannot help the bound. The rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. The words Mameva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajoguna, passion, and Tamoguna, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he can alone give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas confirm this in the phrase Tvameva Viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnur Evana Samshayaha. There's no doubt that Vishnu is a deliverer of liberation for everyone.
Thank you. So this is actually till. So we know that there are 9 stages, right? Of Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Tata Bhajan Kriya, and then Anartha Nivrati and Nishtha. This Nishtha platform, no, it is this Mukti, this where one has a bona fide spiritual master. One is trying to follow his instructions to one level by which the spiritual master mercy is there, he releases. Mukti is there for us very easy. Srila Prabhupada tells it again and again that how easy it is for practicing devotees. So this is that level that Krishna releases. But then after release, then there are further aspects which through the regulative principles, through hearing and chanting, practicing our removal of more anartha nivrati, we gets to higher more stages, higher stages, which are from anartha nivrati, removal of unwanted things. Srila Prabhupada talks about 75% are removed. Then, then that is ruchi, the taste. Then asakti, which is attachment. Then the um, ecstatic love, bhava, ecstatic love, which is being talked about in Nectar of Devotion, which we were just reading before this. Which so that platform is through either the regulative principles or through direct um, mercy, and then one can get to the pure devotee stage prema from there. So
Spontaneous, right?
what's that, Prabhu?
Spontaneous love.
Spontaneous is the uh, ecstatic platform. Yeah, the eighth stage. This is the fifth stage. This one. But even for this, there is causeless mercy, because we can see here Krishna, being the Lord of illusionary energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul, and out of his paternal affection. Now, this, how do we invoke this? is is starts with a causeless mercy, but then because of that mercy, one one so starts, one gets in touch with Krishna, his books, prasadam, lectures, devotee association, and that is his mercy, causelessly given. But through that mercy, one starts to hear, chant, serve, and try to purify the heart gradually to come to a determination that yes, Srila Prabhupada, you are my spiritual master. I'm going to follow whatever you are saying, which is initiation internally and then externally too, and then one practices so enough that one's anarthas are mostly gone. That is this release, this release. Then one is released. Causeless mercy, this is released. And of course, there is more and more stages then come. Okay, discussion. I don't know what's going on with Balaram Prabhu. He was the instigator of this. If not, then we can go to the next his
Yeah,
convert. Yeah,
Prabhu,
yeah.
for I want to know for if there is causeless mercy on some duty, just like Narad Muni's example is there. Still, there is a endeavor on our part, or we have to play. Is there also?
Discussing no that Narad Muni is he was endeavoring no. Narad Muni is regulative principles. You remember we were reading just now that Narad Muni aspect is, but Prahlad Maharaj was direct mercy, causeless mercy, which is basically just like Lord Chaitanya giving glancing at people and giving them ecstatic love directly, without going through the regulative principle. But and that happens by disturbing their free will, interjecting. Krishna interjects, kind of takes away the free will, and gives here, love me directly. He can do that. He is free, but generally he does not. That's why Srila Prabhupada specifically says it's a special mercy. It's not regularly given. Special. I will read that again to you. So, in special cases, see, there is a special favor. Court, although we should always expect that special, we should not sit idly and simply wait for Krishna's special mercy. What we should do is do the regular duties. See? So, which is the regulative principles, which is following the four regs, getting up morning, hearing, prasadam, so many 64 regulative principles, what are being described in Nectar of Devotion earlier to this. One should devotedly execute the regular principles of devotional service and at the same time hope for Krishna's favor or for his devotees' favor. Hope against hope. That's the consciousness. How can
It was in NOD 7,
I mean,
NOD 17.
yeah. Now let us go to Srila Prabhupada explaining this further. Okay. Where is that thing? Rancho Prabhu or Padma Prabhu, tell me where we should start.
It starts with Srila Prabhupada, the only way back to Godhead is to attain like that. Prabhu. So it is at almost 50% of the page you have to move, Prabhu. You can search it, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle.
And this one is 54, right?
54:12 timestamp.
The only way back to Godhead is by obtaining the causeless mercy of the spiritual master. So
Why do you sleep? You rest as your spiritual master you do for me everything and then you sleep. You not like that. Krishna, when he had wife, also, he never said that Arjuna, I'm your friend, God. I said, do everything, you sleep. You don't talk. Did he say?
No.
His wife get Krishna's much. Not that my spiritual master is muchly dead. Like you have to struggle. You have to follow the rules and regulations.
Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Harmyam Tushukam Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, it is joyfully performed.
So by struggling to overcome our senses, we can please you and obtain your mercy.
Right.
So this is great, huh? Srila Prabhupada, he is talking about, this is a question which we have been raised. How do you attain mercy of Srila Prabhupada? He is already giving all the instructions. Other giving example. That is mercy. That is Krishna's mercy. You have to fight. That is Krishna's mercy. Then it is our free will if we take that up or not. He's already giving here. He's giving the Bhagavad Gita, the whole instructions of Bhagavad Gita. That itself is his mercy. He sent Srila Prabhupada. That is his big mercy. He has invested all the potencies, all of his potencies in his holy name, which is his huge mercy, the biggest mercy. How much mercy is already giving. Srila Prabhupada got his painted everywhere, all so many nice photos of the spiritual world. That is his mercy, so that we can see him.
Yes.
He's coming in his deity form. That is already his mercy.
And Srila Prabhupada is Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda's agent. I mean, they broke open the storehouse of love, giving it freely. And Prabhupada came and just really like distributed and propagated that all over the world. So he gave us everything, really. Everything.
Mhm. So that
You just have to,
causeless mercy is already coming. Mhm.
and they're telling us, please take it. Please take it.
Yeah.
They, you know, like They want us to really, really take it up for our own benefit. Yes.
Then Srila Prabhupada said, but, and he's sleeping, and he'll sleep. We are not taking, not that by, he says, it's not like you're giving the mercy or giving, no, you have to do this. How you invoke this mercy is by struggling to follow the rules and regulations, doing everything possible to follow the rules and regulations. This again, so by struggling to overcome our senses, we can please you and obtain your mercy. Yes, that is the Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasada. That's the Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. Updekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is this one. Where is this? Anshu Prabhu, can you let me share it? Where is this one? Is it
12, 12.
12, huh? Hmm. What should I search for?
So we say that everything. So we say that everything has a cost. Madhu Divsa Maharaj says.
Okay, so basically,
Yeah,
everything we are
no, down.
talking
It's
about the
completely.
chance philosophy, how the chance is happening. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, never. It's always Krishna's. Krishna is making this. He has created all these things. Then, okay, so this is 12:10.
Reaction begins. But you do not see the result immediately, but wait and you'll find. We say that everything has a cause. Yes. But then we have causeless mercy. So would that be chance? Huh? We have also causeless mercy, meeting the pure devotee. Is that a chance? No, we don't accept that chance. The causeless is a mercy. Causeless mercy is the cause. Yeah. Mercy. The mercy may be causeless, but the mercy is the cause. But which is the cause? The mercy is the cause. That's the cause. You did nothing to deserve it, but it's caused your good fortune. Yeah.
So let's just
I saw somewhere further up, it was,
one.
the prophet said, there's no chance. You were hit in the head. He said, I saw that earlier somewhere up for further. It said, you were hit in the head. In other words, you just got hit with it. You didn't even do anything for it.
Mhm.
It was, you know,
Let's go down the room. No? Hmm? What do each one understand? Christoph Prabhu, you want to take up your understanding of this? Anyone else?
yeah, that's what we have to beg for, is the mercy. We can't do it on our own. Even though anything that we do, all our devotional service, anything, our actions, our austerities, without his mercy, none of it makes it really, it's depending on that. It just, we have to beg for that. That's the chanting, right? Please engage me in your service. That's the chanting. We have to beg. We have to beg.
Mm-hmm. So we have already gotten this mercy, no? Causeless mercy that we have gotten. Somehow we got Hare Krishna mantra. Somehow we got Srila Prabhupada's books. That is causelessly.
Right.
Causeless is the mercy. We got it. Now we already have it. Now what do we do? Now we have to do the endeavor, no?
Yes, but we continue to beg, right?
Very nice. Explain this process now. How does it work?
Well, I'll tell you a pastime that I think really points to this. So Srila Prabhupada was in a big, meeting. All his disciples, everybody was there. Prabhupada said, the difference between me and you is that you can fall into Maya and I cannot. That was what he said in the big assembly. Later that day, they were in the temple room. Prabhupada was standing in front of the altar. His disciple was next to him. And Prabhupada was praying to Krishna, Krishna, please don't let me fall into Maya. The disciple heard this, right? So naturally, later the disciple asked Srila Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada, he said, earlier in the class, you said that you cannot fall into Maya, but here you were just asking Krishna to not let you fall into Maya. And Prabhupada said, yes, and now you know why.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's constantly begging for that mercy to protect him, even him. Don't let me fall into Maya. I don't know if that helps, but
Very nice. Exactly.
yeah.
That endeavor to ask is what is our endeavor. Is how we invoke the mercy.
Yeah, constantly ask. We have to constantly be humble and beg for the mercy. It's not automatic. It's not just given and you have it now and that's it. You're fine. I mean, you just have to stay humble and keep asking, even to make further progress through all those 9 stages you're talking about. We have to get there. We have to keep asking,
Mm.
and even when we get there, we're still asking.
More asking at that time.
That's
So,
it. Yeah.
so,
More of this. Please don't let me fall from this.
so isn't
Yeah.
the chanting enough? Why does Srila Prabhupada then say chanting, just chant Hare Krishna mantra and be happy?
It does invoke happiness. When we feel the relief from these oppressive senses and these desires that drive us, it's really like being in a prison. I'm just speaking for myself. And when you feel the relief of that, that is freedom. It really is freedom.
But
And
so
it does, and it gives you a sense of happiness that you just can't get any other way. That's one thing. The other thing, because you're begging to engage in his service, and then he gives you the service, and then you feel when you're doing the service his reciprocation. You could feel his presence in your life. You could feel his hand moving in your life and directing things and guiding your heart and your steps and your mind, and you're free again from all the suppressive, overwhelming sense desires. It's wonderful. Makes you get happy. I mean, you get real happiness, not some, temporary fake material happiness, but you get, and that taste is what keeps us driving. At least that's my understanding. My realization is the little taste whatever I've gotten. I want that. I really want that.
mhm.
And I know I have to stay humble and keep asking and begging and at the same time, we're in kirtan. We're expressing our gratitude and our joy uh, for for what he's given us. And that we know that we're on the right path. We know that we feel his protection in our life. We know that he's taking control of our life. We have faith that he's going to continue to help us, and that, we expect that mercy. At the same time, we beg for it, but we expect that, yes, I'm trying my best, and I believe, I have faith that you will help me, that you're there and you will continue to help me. And that brings happiness. You're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You know that he's going to do the heavy lifting, and we just have to stay focused on our position.
Yeah, but question is that if
Excuse
just
me.
by
Cold.
praying like that and depending on for their mercy is enough. I mean, if that is the process, then what's the point of chanting or doing anything? Just ask for mercy, please give me mercy. No?
Well, that's what you are doing when you're chanting. Please engage me in your service. That's his mercy. That's you're asking for his mercy. Him engaging you in his service is him giving you mercy. That's a privilege.
Privilege, anyone can chant, no? 16, 20, 35.
No, but the part that when he engages you in his service, when he gives you something to do, that's a privilege.
But no, without him giving also, anybody can chant in the world. No?
Yes, of course.
So,
But
what-
I don't understand your point.
We also have to say that to have some kind of attraction or taste for chanting, even from beginning to years later, that's also mercy.
Yes, so everything is mercy. Without the mercy, we have nothing. We have no chance at anything.
okay, let's go to the next. Okay, here. Where is this?
Yeah, that is from starting.
Starting only. Okay.
So at some stage, during the lifetime, especially during the human form of life, one should come to the senses.
Yes. That is
really
required.
suffering.
Not to speak like madman, that we are scientists, we shall solve all the questions. These nonsense things should stop. They should come to God and understand what God says. Then life is success. God himself speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. Just try to understand. This is not meant for the dogs and cats. This is meant for a person like Arjuna. Because Bhagavad Gita was taught to Arjuna.
It's cutting in.
Even from Prabhupada. So, be yourself amongst the topmost intelligent class of men and try to understand Bhagavad Gita. Then you'll be happy. Yeah. If you want to remain unhappy by your weight, then what? God cannot help you. But you have got the independence.
So Prabhupada, some people say, well, I have no free will. That means you're actually lazy.
Yes, you have got free will, but you must utilize it properly. That is free will. Free will means to utilize it properly. That is free will.
Sometimes Krishna interferes with the free will, or free will.
Yeah,
God interferes.
yeah. That is Krishna's special favor. Because by your free will you are going to hell. If Krishna interferes, that is Krishna's special favor of it. Just like a child is going to touch fire by free will. Father, don't do. That is special favor.
It's called causeless mercy.
Causeless mercy. So mercy is already there, but we are denying the mercy.
Mm.
That is the defect of material existence.
Mm.
The master is the mercy of God.
Yes. God is distributing his mercy from within and from without. Without mercy is distributed. Without means externally, just in front of you.
Guru.
Ah,
Hare
Hare Krishna. Personally, voice.
Okay, so this is good. So this spatial favor, no? This spatial favor, spatial, this interjecting through against the free will, interjecting in the free will, that is what we were reading in this place again. You know, elevation to the stage of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. One way is constant association with pure devotees. The other is by the spatial mercy. The spatial is the interjecting in the free will. So here he says in spatial cases, of course, there is spatial favor from Krishna. And although we should always expect that, we should not sit idly and simply wait for Krishna's spatial mercy. So you can see spatial favor here also is spatial, this in the same context. So that's how I understood that Srila Prabhupada is when he talks about, where did it go? This is not the one. Yeah.
Nimai Prabhu, can you just elaborate a little bit more what you mean by same context?
Same context, no? Causeless mercy. I've been reading that. Hmm. This is special favor. Yeah, here. So here it is. That is Krishna's special favor because by your free will you are going to hell. If Krishna interferes, that is Krishna's special favor. Special favor. See? So this special favor here in Nectar of Devotion, the Kripa Siddhi is a special favor, which means that interjecting against the free will, what Lord Chaitanya was doing by glancing, and but this is not special, which we are doing regulative principle. It is just when. So the purport is that one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees, so that there will be certainty in raising oneself to that ecstatic platform. The regular duties must be performed. It is just as when sometimes it is found that or call will devotedly execute the regulative principle of devotion service. At the same time, hope for Krishna's favor, which is the special favor here, or of his devotees' favor, which is special favor. So, what I understand from this and from what John Prabhu is saying is that it is not just cut and dry, either this or that. Even in the first aspect, there is
You're cutting out, Prabhu. Your connection's
favor
cutting out. Your connection's cutting out.
Yeah.
to the plate, not to the stage of pure like ecstatic platform, but even to chant better, even not to fall down, get up in the morning, be nice to devotees, humble down. So many places, special favor is always happening, little. And that we should expect for it, pray for it, and our humility and mood will could evoke this. This is not will, but could. It is all up to Srila Prabhupada. Totally is mercy.
So would
I
I
have
be
another. Sorry, go ahead, Balaram.
Go ahead. No, John Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have another very stark example of Krishna's causeless mercy, a personal experience that I could share, but I don't know if this is the right place to do it unless
Go for
you
it.
want me, unless you want me to. If that's okay with the group, I'll share it. And I think it's a really prime example of what causeless mercy really is. I think that would be appropriate in this context. Should I share it?
How
Yes,
long?
please.
How long is it?
Um, well, I could do the condensed version.
Yeah, condensed version is good.
I could do the,
But remember, it's also recorded, right?
yeah. I don't share this frequently or with everyone. So maybe we can have an offline, maybe meeting or something. Maybe I don't mind that it's recorded. Actually, I think it's really good for anyone to hear. So yeah, it's okay. I'm all right with that.
Go ahead then. Yeah, you're waiting.
So when I was a young man, and I grew up in South Philadelphia, it was a hellish place. I mean, the association with hell was hellish. The kids in school, I mean, you know, everything was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was really bad. It was like being in hell. And I had a longing that I wanted to meet a girl, and I was laying in bed one night, and I asked him, I feel lonely. I want to, I feel like I need somebody. And he introduced me to a really nice girl. It just happened like that. We became very close. As my first girl, I was her first. She was my first, and we got pregnant. So because of bad instruction from the older brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, they told me to have an abortion. That's what I should do because we were too young. I don't believe that today, but so we did do that. She got pregnant again, and it happened again. I didn't realize at the time what I was doing, really. I had this bad instruction and advice coming from people that were older than me. I was young. I was scared. My father was very heavy on us, so I didn't know. I thought he would really freak out too. So I made a big mistake. So I was laying in bed one night, and from my mind and heart to Krishna's ears, I prayed because I felt this weight come on me of sin. Like I really felt the weight of what I did. I don't know why I didn't know it while I was doing it, but afterwards I really understood I made a huge mistake. And I was really afraid because of what I did. So I asked Krishna, I said, I didn't know him as Krishna at the time. I was born and raised a Catholic, but I knew of the Father and I prayed to the Father. I said, Father, I realize that I have made a grave mistake in life. Please give me my paybacks young in life so the majority of my life could be a good one. That was the prayer. Because I felt like I ruined my life. I felt like this sin was so big that my life was just going to be horrible. And I went to sleep. Now I believed wholeheartedly, completely that he was there and that he was hearing me. And that now at this point, it's up to him. He's either going to fulfill that or he's not. But I asked him for it. I asked him for I didn't even know the word karma at that stage of my life. I was a young man. I was 17 years old. So after that, my life turned into a hell. When I tell you hell, I'm not going to get into the details. It was ugly. It was very, very bad. I became so depressed. I didn't want to live anymore in a year's course of time.
And I remember sitting in this horrible house, this dirty place with these people around me, druggies and everything else. I don't think I slept for 4 days or something. I couldn't sleep. I was completely depressed. I was completely materially exhausted. And I kept saying in my mind, I was just praying, Krishna or Father, if this is life, I don't want it. Please take me. I don't want this anymore. Just please take me. I was begging like this, begging day after day, just constantly. I had it. I was completely exhausted. So my best friend in the world, who was my best friend through high school, and we were in a band together and everything else, he calls me up out of the blue and he says, John, do you want to go down the shore? Now, for me, I was thinking, are you sure that that's what you want? And I said, yes. So next morning, early, he shows up, he picks me up, and we get in the car and we drive to Wildwood, New Jersey. Now, the whole ride down there, there was something really auspicious going on. We both felt it. I didn't know what it was. He didn't know what it was. But it wasn't like we went down the shore so many times, but this time everything was different. There was something, electricity in the air. I didn't know what it was. He didn't know. As we're looking at each other, something was different. It was a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. We pull up at the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey, and we get out of the car. And from the minute we pulled up and got out of the car, all of a sudden the weather just immediately changed. The wind starts like blowing and the clouds start coming, and we're feeling this energy. We get out of the car, we walk up onto the boardwalk, and it's continuing to get, more intense. And we walk to the other side of the ocean side of the boardwalk, and we're feeling all this and seeing all this. We're looking at each other, and he says, "You want to walk to the shore?" And I said, "Yes." So I don't know if you're familiar with Wildwood, New Jersey. It's a very long beach. From the boardwalk to the beach is a very long walk. So we both get down and we walk towards the water. And as we're walking towards the waterfront, the wind is pushing at our backs. It became so strong you could literally lean into it and you wouldn't fall backwards. It was literally pushing us. We get to the ocean front, right at the edge of the water, and my friend Frank turns around and says to me, with like you could tell it wasn't him. He said, "You have asked for your paybacks young in life. I have granted you this. You have gotten them." So I immediately knew where I was, and I knew who was speaking through Frank, because his eyes were kind of like glazed over. It wasn't him. So Frank drifted away, but the conversation continued. Now you have to understand what's happening now is that the water, the waves are like the ocean became really like violent, and the clouds came really low to the earth, and the wind is blowing like anything. And he's really showing me he's there. And he says, "Look out over the size of the ocean and imagine the size of the world. I give you all this. Do you still want to die?" So I thought for a minute and I said, "Well, no." No, he said, I thought for a minute and I said, "Well, my paybacks are paid for. I could have a good life." I said, "No, I want to live." No, no. He said, "Do you still want to die?" He said, "You are mine." And the clouds just above me just opened up in that one spot, and the sun was shining down on me. He told me, "You are mine." I thought for a minute and I thought I could have a good life. So I said, "No, I want to live." He said, "Go out into the world and travel. You do not need money to live. I will give you the things you need to live." He said, "Woman was put on earth to please man." He said, "Human reproduction, it is where everything comes from." He said, "It is mind over matter. I leave it all up to you." And the ocean calmed down that fast, and the wind stopped blowing, and the clouds subside. That was mercy. That was him. That was divine intervention to a person which is, I was completely on a path to hell. But because I asked and I believed that he was hearing me, and I knew he either would help me or he wouldn't, he singled me out and put me through more hell to pay for my sins, and then told me, "I gave you what you asked for." And that was
Mhm.
causeless mercy. He didn't have to do it. That was what we hear. To me, that's when I hear, you know, you didn't ask for it. I mean, you just, you don't deserve it, but you get it anyway. Anyway, I don't know if that
That,
helps
that,
anyone.
that, that was exactly what I wanted to say when you spoke at the same time, was that I asked in my Pandit Pro about the context. We said it was the same context, but actually in the conversation with Svarat Damodar, Prabhupada seems to be saying about causeless mercy being special favor with
Yeah.
the materialist going to hell. It wasn't in a devotee context, actually, but the later conversation that we were looking at, or lecture or whatever we read there, was talking about devotees who are already practicing devotional service and they get special favor. So that special favor upon devotees and the special favor on a materialist, apparently materialist going to hell, whatever. It seems, I mean, it shows that Krishna and his pure devotees, they're giving mercy from mundane materialists all the way up to those performing devotional service and into devotional also. So special mercies through the whole spectrum of life.
Yeah. I mean, the only caveat, I was born and raised a Catholic, and I always had full faith that Lord Jesus was real, that his father was real. There was never any doubt for me that God was existed as real as everything that I'm seeing, like you in front of me right now. Was never any doubt. But I did fall into really deep sinful life. I mean, I did. That's what happened. And, he saved me from that. Then I did what he told me. I just went out and traveled on foot for a year and 3 months. I traveled the whole United States. I traveled every national park on foot. I lived outside. I completely depended on him. And really, I took on a lot of austerity, and I was exactly where he wanted me. And he taught me so much in that journey. I can tell you examples upon examples of ways that he continued communicating with me and telling me things. I'll just tell one very quickly. I was on the road for 3 months at this point, and I'm standing in Wyoming on Interstate 80. It's raining sideways. I'm soaking wet. It's cold, and I'm hitchhiking, right? So I was heading on my way back to Philadelphia. I broke down, like I just completely broke down. I cried. I turned my back to the road, and I was walking away from the interstate, and I just said, "Father, it's too hard. It's too hard for a man to live this way." And at that moment, an 18-wheeler trucker blew his horn. Beep, 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 beep. There's no cars. It's like you're in the middle of literally nowhere, right? This one truck comes, he blows his horn at me like that. I turn around, and on the side of the truck in big red letters, it says, "For most." Like, these things happened all the time. And he really showed me how he's in control of every living entity in exact timing, right down to the grains of the sand on the beach. You really understand that when you're, first of all, in his presence like that at the beach, and then you see how he moves things in the world. You get I got the chills all over my body right now, but you get a sense of him that, like, that everything that Prabhupada talks about, that he's in every atom, like, these things are real for me because of my experiences and how I see that he moved and spoke through living entities in exact timing. Like, I could be walking down, you know, little town USA somewhere in the middle of the country, and I'm always in my mind, I'm just always talking to him. The conversation in my mind is talking to him, and I'm asking a question, and I'd walk by a group of three people that were standing there talking, having their own conversation. But when I walk by at that moment, they exactly answered what I was asking, like as if I was having a conversation with someone. Just like these things would happen all the time.
So this is what Balaram Prabhu is saying, no? That materialists, because Krishna's, as you were saying earlier, that Krishna's love is permeating everything, and it starts with, as Srila Prabhupada and as Lord Chaitanya says, Brahmanda Brahmite, Kono Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye, Bhakti Lata Bij. This is Brahmanda Brahmite. We are, our soul is traveling all around the world. This that life, this, and then by when one turns one's face to one's friend, just hearing lecture yesterday, she was able, when the friend turns his attention to the friend, then that friend says, okay, I'm going to send you I will come outside as a guru to teach you. So he's coming outside as in that form of a spiritual master, like Lord Jesus, and also Srila Prabhupada. He's taking us to pure devotional platform. So that fortune is being created by Krishna directly for all the living entities, because we are his dear friend. That's why he's sitting in our heart.
He loves us more than we could ever imagine. We just can't even fathom.
That causeless, that mercy is one, but it does not stop. It continues on in terms of, there is, now he's giving us the spiritual master. So in that form, that spiritual master is giving us instructions, he's giving books, he's giving devotee association. Then mercy is continuing on. Krishna has already given us the Bhagavad Gita. He's given us other scriptures. He has given us so many other ways to come to him. The tirthas are there. The Ganges Yamunas are there. The holy name is there everywhere. So like that, the mercy is always continuing on, but then it depends on our free will then to pick it up and follow
Yeah.
and keep asking for more mercy by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. But just by hearing itself nicely, chanting and hearing, that's the biggest way we can try to get the mercy of the Lord, because he's present there. The most easiest, most potent way is present there. And then we keep asking Srila Prabhupada, please let me hear when I chant, let me chant 16 rounds, let me get up in the morning and chant 16 rounds clearly. That is all our endeavor. And by that struggle to hear, holy name will immediately give mercy. So, that way. That mercy component is always there, but as normally we are asked to follow his instructions to evoke the mercy. In special cases, special, again and again he's saying special, which is that means ordinary, nor should we think that that is how I can go, the special way. That's, he's saying no, one should try to follow and try to endeavor, and then hope, like nectar devotion, other places, a hope against hope. One should keep on hoping, even though one understands why would Krishna ever give me special mercy? I mean, really, because we are such a nonsense, so much, but still we hope against hope. That is the mood which is prescribed to to evoke the mercy of the Lord and Srila Prabhupada and the Lord continuously.
Yeah, the faith is really important. It's that faith and hope is really is so important.
Let's
And
take,
I can tell, just to sew it up real fast, I can tell you, even after all that, and after a year or 3 months of doing all that austerity and being purified, I was heading back to Philadelphia again just to stay for 2 weeks, for the holidays to see my family. All the signs along the way were don't go, do not go, don't go. He was telling me I didn't do it. I took my will back. I ended up going back to Philadelphia, got completely entangled again, met a girl, had a baby, my daughter today. And I just he was training me for something. I took my will back, and I don't know what that would have ended up being. I wish I continued on my path. Maybe I would have ended up in India. I don't know, but then I didn't come to Krishna consciousness till I was 40. But as soon as I heard the message of Bhagavad Gita, I knew that it was absolute truth. As soon as I heard it, first day, that was it. Still eating meat all that time, didn't know, the difference. I went home that evening and emptied out my freezers and never ate another piece of meat again. After the first time hearing Bhagavad Gita, I knew it was right. I knew it's what I was looking for. Anyway, I don't want to take all the time here, but even after all that, like you say, yeah, you have free will. You could still take your will back, and you could fall again, even after all that.
Okay. Let's, Balram Prabhu, shall we take up your questions?
Yes, please. If they haven't been done already, I'm so embarrassed. Sorry I came late. We have some guests here from Istanbul, so came late.
What is Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy? We went through this. Is
Mhm.
Srila Prabhupada's mercy manifest in ISKCON or not? Of course, everywhere. The mercy is not a, not a, it's a mercy. It's samsara dhava navalida loka tranaya karunya gana ganatvam. The ocean is getting rain and land is also getting rain. Everywhere there is rain. Mercy is available everywhere. Lord Chaitanya is already come to this material world in this one day of Brahma through his mercy. Then he has sent Srila Prabhupada. I mean, all the acharyas first with all their on their contributions and their wishes. They are all continuing on. And then Srila Prabhupada is coming and is doing his books, writing and giving. All that mercy is everywhere, no? That's the second thing which you were saying. Let me post your.
Yeah, if I can reiterate that and maybe ask the question, and it's great that we have this wonderful chance to have John with us. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Nice to see
Krishna.
you again.
It's very nice to be here with you as well. I appreciate this time.
Specifically, now you just said, which I was very happy to hear you, that yes, Srila Prabhupada's mercy is present everywhere and in ISKCON also outside of ISKCON. So then when we call ISKCON, regular ISKCON, I don't know what word to use for ISKCON, but ISKCON is ISKCON.
Maya is gone.
When we say Maya ISKCON,
ISKCON at large.
yeah. And I'm like, well, what the hell does that mean? Maya ISKCON. Maya ISKCON means not the real thing. It's fake. It's illusory. It's Maya, right? But then again, we're saying Prabhupada is there, and the way you just said Prabhupada's causes is there, you also kind of made it a little bit, let's say, impersonal in the way that you said, well, God is everywhere, Prabhupada's causes mercy is everywhere, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's causes mercy is everywhere. So if we can just focus it in, specifically my question is like, okay, some of us are saying that this is Maya ISKCON. And then we're saying Prabhupada's causeless is everywhere. So is Prabhupada's mercy, is Prabhupada's presence in ISKCON, is it there? Is he continuing to guide, protect, and purify all his disciples, those who are just innocently accepting someone else in some other position, and those who have taken up this position of Guru because that's their desire? Are they all getting Prabhupada's mercy? Are they all getting Prabhupada's association? Is he, through, his pure love, trying to purify all, even the ones with this desire? And
Prabhupada is saying, no, so very directly he's saying, his mercy is already here, there. But we are denying the mercy.
Mm-hmm.
The defect.
So I think on Balaram's question,
yeah,
I think
sorry,
the
Niman, are you saying, sorry, John, if you can just answer this also, because it's good to, so what are you saying by this is that Prabhupada's mercy is in ISKCON, but they're all refusing it, so there's no mercy in
All
ISKCON.
depending on, we are all, I am also refusing, on daily basis, I am refusing.
So then, okay, so what, because really what the crux of this discussion and question is about is, how come we're saying Maya ISKCON and we're the real ISKCON?
Yeah, I mean, in my
what-
view, I think the answer
I
is
didn't say
yes and
we are
no.
the real ISKCON. It takes a lot to be real ISKCON. Point is that is a Maya ISKCON because the we can go in detail because the starting from Guru Ashraya, no, regulative principles, he has already given us the instructions and he is present and everything. But the management, not the individual devotees, the governing body who is managing, that is decided as an official policy and to preach that you cannot do that. You cannot do the taking shelter, the real shelter of Srila Prabhupada. You cannot. That is why it's going into Maya, because that is the Maya consciousness is being preached in that.
But sorry,
Not mean that the individual devotees cannot take up the mercy on their own and become purified and become pure devotees. That is because his mercy is everywhere present.
No,
but
I mean, I think it's a yes and no answer because you have so many devotees that, come to ISKCON. They get their first introduction. They don't know anything. They get introduced to Srila Prabhupada and his books and the devotees. And through Prabhupada's mercy, they're being taken to Krishna's lotus feet. They're being introduced. So that begins the journey. And that devotee could be very sincere. I mean, to me, spiritual life is very, very, very individual and personal. And if you have a sincere desire for to know the absolute truth and to really follow that, then no matter what, Krishna is going to bring you, and Srila Prabhupada will bring you to the place where you'll find that. No matter where you came to the movement, he will eventually bring you amongst devotees that are in line with what you're wanting, right? Now, if you want a compromised, you know, like social club that's, just about having fun and, going to some, occasional kirtan and, that's what you'll get. But as you become deeper in your spiritual realizations and your desire to really know Krishna and want to serve him, your life is going to change, and even if you go in and serve in the regular ISKCON at large temples, you'll get a certain learning and growth there. But if your desire takes you beyond that and you need something different, then then Krishna will move you and tell you that. I could talk. There's so many devotees that started out in ISKCON and they just, they went elsewhere because they weren't finding whatever it was. Didn't agree with what they were doing, how they were running things, or feeling like something was missing because of the way they were being treated, by the devotees that were superior or their elder god brothers weren't treating them properly, and they felt like, well, if that's what they're getting from their spiritual life, something's not right, and they move on. So there's so many ways that you could just, but ultimately your desire is going to bring you to where you need to be and match with your real longing for wanting to serve.
Yeah, but
And
but the thing is, desire is there, but definitely what you're saying is correct. But Maya is gone because they are trying to come in between Krishna's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, and the individual's desires. That is such a horrible, the worst thing one can do in material existence is that, not murder, not physical body, because this body is temporary. So one is trying to come in the middle of that.
Yes, but in my view,
See, so
I think whoever the perpetrators are, if they know in their hearts that they have gone against what Srila Prabhupada really wanted, I mean, that's a huge thing that's above my pay grade. I mean, that's between Srila Prabhupada and Krishna and them. And surely when we all leave our bodies, we are going to face Srila Prabhupada for whatever that is. And, you know, I mean, I know for a fact, just from my own personal experiences, nobody gets away with anything. Nothing. You have to answer.
that's true. What we are talking about is, see, we are asked to disassociate. Some devotees are, because there are four varnas, so four varnas are asked different things to do. When one sees that somebody is coming, trying to stop the mercy going to Krishna,
Mhm.
Brahmanas are told they should preach against it. They should defeat it by logic, by philosophy, by the right understanding, the philosophically. So some devotees are doing it. That is the right way to do it. Some devotees are Kshatriya mentally, they are told physically to do something, fight and defeat that. But specifically the Brahmana and Kshatriya mentality devotees are told to protect devotees by their intelligence and by their physical activities. The other devotees financially and other ways they can protect the other classes and support the other classes in this whole endeavor, but it has to be done. One can't say, oh, it's not my duty, oh, they are all mercy, they're getting, everybody. No, this is our duty told. This is also part of the regulative principles, part of trying to show Srila Prabhupada that I'm serious to serve you, is that to protect other devotees, you know.
Can I say something about this? You're saying, first it was nice, and I'm happy to hear that you're saying it's the management, and we should also understand that. No, John just hit it on the nail for me. Also, is to just really get this very clear. The relationship, let alone causeless mercy, the relationship, the love, the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna through his various other representatives also is extremely personal and individual, extremely on a personal basis. And almost none of us can know what the sentiment and what the motive is of any particular person at any particular point in time. And more importantly, how Prabhupada and Krishna will deal with them. So now we have a management, some of the management, badly motivated or innocently misguided or whatever, that are taking up Diksha Guru position, and maybe I don't know how they're influencing people to sort of to block this, to so-called block the causeless mercy. I agree, some of that is happening, but it seemed like we, especially on the Prabhupada Nuga side, for us, we should be even more clear on this, that Prabhupada's mercy is coming through his instruction, coming through his mercy, coming through his books, right? But what we're saying right now is that these management people, through whatever management things they're doing, are somehow blocking so much of Prabhupada's mercy from coming. It's like we're giving them the power of this position, giving them the credit for having this big position, that they're able to somehow block the mercy, block the relation with Prabhupada. Can't, no way, as John said. Srila Prabhupada and Krishna somehow or other will deal with you as they want. Nobody on this planet can block anyone from dealing with anyone if that devotee sincerely desires and correctly desires to deal with Prabhupada or Krishna. That will be done. So then still leaves my question. If Prabhupada, there's a few people that are misleading, but still the main base of everybody's association is Prabhupada's Vani. We know that, even though the books have been changed a little bit, blah, blah, blah. So still my question remains, and I would love to get an answer from both of you, is okay, Prabhupada is still dealing even with those who are deviating, who are taking the guru position. They're his disciples. And he's dealing with new people also through normal dealings, through causeless mercy, through special favor. So on what basis and what does it mean, please, to say that this is Maya ISKCON. If I heard Maya ISKCON, I wouldn't go there. And I maybe not go anywhere if there's nothing else available.
Then.
But if Prabhupada is working through, if Prabhupada is somehow interacting with the others there, and we're calling it Maya ISKCON, which means it's all illusionary, that's a big kind of lie and not the correct thing, isn't it?
No, but okay, just like cloud covers the sun. Sun is always there, is so big. Cloud sun is like huge. Clouds are so less, but they are covering our eyes, no? Our eyes. So there are management, the Kshatriyas, they are powerful. That is how Krishna has arranged it. They yad yad atharati sheshta tatta deve taro guna, ganaha. So whatever the leading people do, other people follow. And then the another thing which Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sangat sanjayate kama. Sangat, by association, one develops desires.
Sorry, Nimai, just because I love to be clear, the example you just gave with the cloud and the sun, again, is it saying that these few management people who are taking the position of Diksha Guru, are they blocking Prabhupada as the sun?
Yeah.
We giving them that much credit?
Yeah.
Come on. We're based on Vani, not physical position of.
That
If their Vani dominates Prabhupada's Vani, I agree with you.
1 second. When you say come on, you have to quote the scriptural way we have to see that, not make our own way of thinking that whether he's covering or not covering.
Nimai, you
Yeah.
bring this point all the way, all the time. If you've known me for 15 plus years, you've never heard me quote one shloka. So just accept, if you haven't, everybody else can also know this, sorry, is that I cannot remember one sloka, never said one sloka, very
Shloka,
bad
but
intelligence, very
concept will
bad
be
memory.
there. Concept will be there that there is something which Srila Prabhupada says. Some, of course, you understand. No? But otherwise, how one can make up one's thinking based on what? You have to base it on Krishna's thinking. No?
No, you're asking me to quote some
You need to
reference
quote,
point, yeah?
just reference something. No?
I can't, and
Concept.
you should know this already.
Concept. Then that is the defect, no, Prabhu? That is
Yes, yes, I agree. But what I
when
can
he makes
help and ask
fundamental.
devotees to help me like you is when I say something, like I'm speaking right now, if there is anyone who can find supportive, that quote is it, they can bring it in and please share it. And if I'm saying something which is against the scriptural references, please just say, okay, Balaram, you said this or you think like this. Here is the point that corrects your position. So that would really help me.
Right. So in this, I mean, whenever this point comes up, I try to remember all the different instructions relevant, which Srila Prabhupada could have and said, and I remember that they are relevant. So when we talk about cloud, this is an example which Srila Prabhupada gives, that a cloud covers us. And he gives the example of how a soul, Krishna is giving the example in Bhagavad Gita, a soul is covered, even the soul is so powerful, but soul is covered in three coverings, Tamogun,
Okay.
Rajogun.
Okay, now let me transfer that to ISKCON because topic is there. We're trying to understand how to see ISKCON, how to deal with ISKCON, what to teach about ISKCON. So Srila Prabhupada's there in his books. I know many people in ISKCON, and I know many people outside of ISKCON. A lot of them are reading Srila Prabhupada's books much more than people in the Prabhupada Nugas that I know. I don't know everybody, of course, but I'm just saying I know enough. And I see so many are very, very dedicated to Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai, book distribution ki jai, blah, blah, blah. I'm going on 7. So what are the symptoms then that we should see very clearly that the cloud is covering the sun in ISKCON, and therefore they're not getting the mercy or the association of Prabhupada. Therefore, the symptoms are this, and this. But with our group, the cloud is removed, the sun is fully shining, and here is the proof. Here are the symptoms. We see this, and this here, but we don't see it there. That's what I would like, please.
This is very good. So Srila Prabhupada talks about one should see everything, the result by one's symptoms. The results one should see. So this is the right question which you're asking. And the answer Srila Prabhupada gives in Nectar of Devotion, like Rupa Goswami is telling the pure devotional service, there are six symptoms of pure devotional service. And those are the six symptoms are, you see, Krishna. First is removal of bad qualities, coming of good qualities. So this is the first symptom. Sorry, I just lost the track there. But so first is removal of bad qualities, coming of good qualities. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavate akinchana, right? Yes.
So just add to your sentences. I see it in ISKCON, I see it in Prabhupada Nugas also. I see it in both camps. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. This or that or this. Srila Prabhupada talks about that many times when he talks about one can become engineer or doctor. One doesn't have to ask from which college or which place you are coming through. That is the love of God one should see. And love of God is seen in one's qualities. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. One is situated on the pure devotional platform, or it will be filled with different qualities of devotees, of demigods. So definitely it has to come in removal of bad qualities and good qualities. Then he talks about being jolly, always happy, not morose. Because that is also Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, um, Brahman, suddenly it removed from my mind.
Brahmabhut Prasannatma. Brahmabhut Prasannatma. न शौचति नि कांक्षति समा सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते.
That is only these are preliminary act. These devotees can develop anywhere. Doesn't matter. Because these are preliminary. One is coming to a little bit a better platform, mukti platform of following the regular principles that one can do. Then of course the ruchi and asakti, one can see this platform. One would be really wanting to hear the Vani of Srila Prabhupada. One is attached to hearing all the time. One doesn't like to hear other things. This is automatically it will be happening. Then gradually as one expands, then we were reading last week, this result 435, at 435, that is where I test myself all the time and I see other people. And when you have thus learned the truth, you will know, sorry, and when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me and that they are in me and are mine. Seeing everyone starting to see that they are Krishna's living entities. So that comes out in one's behavior, no, in one's dealings, personal dealings with each one, devotee, non-devotee. Everywhere it is apparent. Doesn't matter how much one is reading or chanting or this and that. Finally, it will come down to this. Finally, this is what Krishna is saying this.
Realize knowledge.
Yeah. So
Yes.
this will come only if one is practicing devotion, practicing pure devotional platform from a pure devotee, just like because Krishna is saying Tadviti Pranipatena. This is how you learn the truth. It will come out. It is science. It has to come out. Now, if one is not personally, one is not interacting well and not seeing in one's activities, which we can discuss more and more how it will come out. Because one is not practicing properly. Now, that is individual practice. All whether it's Prabhupada Nuga, this guru, that nothing matters. Finally, it comes down to this platform. But there is also an endeavor being put to bring people to this platform, organized endeavor, because Srila Prabhupada did that. He started that endeavor. Endeavor, one is putting obstacles in it for one's own personal gratification by the management putting. That is why that association is destruction for most devotees. That is why normally, because of the instruction given to us by Srila Prabhupada, by Acharyas, Rupa Goswami is saying don't associate with these materialistic people. He's saying three kinds of people are there: devotee is there, nectar devotion, and the fifth verse. He's saying you have to associate very carefully. Why would he say that? Devotee, they are devotees, no? But he's saying you have to associate very carefully. Letter of instruction. See? One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, what we are talking about, Diksha process, and is engaged in the worshipping the deity, and one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who has advanced. Now, devotee have a propensity to criticize others. In
And
order
undeviated, what did I say?
in order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, for which Srila Prabhupada says, I made ISKCON for these purposes, one should select proper persons with careful discrimination. You know,
Mm.
this is why we don't associate with the Maya ISKCON, because we
But
don't.
you're putting a blanket statement and you're calling it personal. You're calling it each person's dealing with Prabhupada and Krishna separately on one side. And then you're putting a blanket statement of Maya ISKCON, so nobody should associate with any of those devotees.
Fine, fine. That is very bona fide, very bona fide. He talks about societies like that. You know, there is, just like he talks about, nobody should associate with my god brothers. They're envious. Don't associate. He gave a blanket statement.
Mhm.
Now, that doesn't mean that all of the god brothers were like that. There are so many
Mhm.
devotees also.
Mhm.
But there is a blanket statement given for the society because there is a policy, there is a something preached, official version which is preached, which is against the principle, against which will take one away from these loving reciprocation dealings, from receiving the mercy of Srila Prabhupada.
Which is that? Sorry, I'm not clear. Say that again.
There are instructions and policies and preaching done which is which is blocking that mercy. So we are told don't associate with that. No, it's
Which
natural.
instruction?
Like whom to take a shelter of. You can't, because Prabhupada is dead and gone. That's the primary thing. The primary regulative principle is that to take shelter of.
What I think what
No,
Nehemiah
no, because
is saying, I think what Nehemiah is saying is that if you're misleading people in spiritual life, it is the biggest offense and sin that you can do, right? That's what he's saying. And he's saying that that there's a responsibility to fight like Arjuna against that.
For some people, yeah, but Brahmanas fight separately. Some people will not even fight. They are just told to completely disassociate.
You know,
but still, my actual focus and point is we're saying our philosophical base for the Prabhupada Nugas is mostly that we live, we're fed, and we're progress, and we're purified, and we will realize by associating with Prabhupada's Vani, right?
Just
So,
that by other devotees association also, no, who are also trying to do the same thing.
okay, whatever. So main thing is Prabhupada's Vani. The most powerful thing is Prabhupada's Vani. Association with Prabhupada is a pure devotee. So in ISKCON,
Not just
no,
that, Prabhu, see, that's what we have
I'm
been.
not saying just that, Nimai Prabhu. I said the main one. This is main, no?
What is happening is that we have been discussing this thing, that this is the Diksha process is this 434. It's not just the Vani. The main one is not even just the Vani. Main one is this. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashna sevaya updekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva. It's a combo. It's a formula. You hear, nothing will happen unless one is submissive to this person and rendering service to him. Approaching the right spiritual, I mean, it's all of this together, hearing, and nothing will happen, or something will always happen, Srila Prabhupada says. But it is like, what is that, So it is like touching just the uh, uh, like a honey bottle on from the top, just by hearing.
I don't know what you're talking about actually,
Like
but
this
when people hear and hear and hear Srila Prabhupada's book, Srila Prabhupada's words,
will happen unless
there is absolutely so much going on, so much happening. Impossible, nothing like that. Absolutely impossible. Never seen it, never experienced it, never heard about it.
Oh,
So
our farm, the holy name is chant everywhere. It's there. You see, but it's not like everybody is becoming like surrendering to Srila Prabhupada.
sorry, can you say that again? I didn't catch the first part.
So many places when people go to the temples everywhere, so many, people hear Srila Prabhupada, Krishna all the time, no? It's not like how many people then surrender? How many people read Prabhupada books but they don't surrender? It's all dependent on us and us how much we are taking up in the process.
No,
That the
you
first
said
aspect,
not
first is Shamanam, but Shamanam has a process of Shamanam makes it effective, which is given here. You see, this starts with this accepting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Now, this shelter,
automatically by reading, directly, indirectly, knowing or not knowing, they're accepting the shelter of Prabhupada. If they're accepting his words, if they're reading page after page.
to say they are accepting the shelter, what is the basis of that, what you are saying?
What do you mean, what is the basis?
Scriptural basis.
Well,
No?
I think accepting shelter is more to the stage of surrender. Like once you what you're reading, you accept as truth and you take it into your life and you surrender to the path. Then I think that's different.
Yeah.
In
So
my opinion.
here is the scriptural basis to say that what you just said, hearing is taking shelter. It is not philosophically correct what you're saying. Hearing is not just hearing is one aspect of taking shelter. Taking
If
shelter.
if I hear from Srila Prabhupada, as I did in 1995, and then the next day I start chanting Hare Krishna, and I give up eating meat, fish, chicken, or eggs, is that taking shelter of that instruction, even though I have
Yeah,
absolutely no conception of Prabhupada, who he
100%.
what he is? Okay.
100%.
And by doing
100%.
that, I'm getting purified, even though I don't know anything about purification. That's in the initial stages, and that continues to go. So devotees in ISKCON are reading Prabhupada's books. They're waking up early at 3:30, not because some idiot told them.
Oh, one second. So let us discuss what you went through and what scripturally it is talked about. You can see how it matches and how it falls away. You see, this is from Nectar of Devotion. We keep bringing this point up, chapter 7, evidence regarding devotional service. The first aspect is taking shelter, right? Here it is described how to take shelter. There are four aspects of it, taking shelter, which parallels the 434 Bhagavad Gita, taking shelter. And you can see, and is going more deeper into it, expanding. Srila Rupa Goswami is expanding it by giving examples from Srimad Bhagavatam. He talks about that one has to accept the spiritual master. It is not just you hear, to accept him as good as God, representative God, and as good as spiritual master, external manifestation of God. That is how you take shelter of.
Okay, let me ask you this on the basis of our topic today, which is causeless mercy.
Yeah.
Let's say someone like me or anybody reading Prabhupada's books, okay? Waking up 3:30 in the morning, chanting 16 rounds, going to Govindam, Srimad Bhagavatam class, Prasadam, blah, 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 blah. But they don't accept or they don't know, don't realize, whatever reason, and don't realize Krishna or Prabhupada, sorry, is, as you've been hammering away at us for months, as good as God. Okay, now, how does Prabhupada deal with such a person? Does he withdraw his mercy, not give him purification, not give him realization, not give him guidance? Or does he
I
say,
would say I would say patiently he would deal with them patiently.
But scripturally, we have to see, no, Prabhu? Mercy is always there. He is not taking away or going away or anything. He is giving, just
No.
like cloud is
Yeah.
giving.
okay, so say he's giving, so how you call it Maya
But
is? Maya
So
is got Maya devotees. How you
let's
call
not
that?
jump there. We are at the topic of taking shelter first of all.
No, we're at the topic of mercy, Prabhupada.
Oh, this is already there, no? His mercy is already there, Srila Prabhupada. See?
So how
But
you
we
call
are
it
denying it.
Maya? How
But
you call it Maya?
you can read on the screen, Prabhu.
Yes, I can read very nicely.
So he says, but we are denying it.
You are saying they are denying. Who is denying?
Okay. How can one say, what is the definition of how does one deny the mercy?
Yeah, that's what I say.
Fine.
I
So that is
I
where let us discuss now what does it mean one is denying the mercy? Denying the mercy is not
denying mercy means they don't follow.
exactly that both of us are in agreement then. Now let us take this agreement of mercy is always there, but they are not following, meaning what? This.
I didn't say they're not following. I said they are following.
No. When Srila Prabhupada says that that one is denying mercy, and we are in agreement, that means that we are not following, because other places Srila Prabhupada says the same thing. And how does it reflect here in taking shelter? That is, let us see that, no? And that is how we see whether they are able to take the mercy or not, whether they are denying the mercy or not, in the first aspect of taking shelter of a guru. When you say that taking shelter means by hearing, that is just one aspect of the four aspects of taking shelter. You have to hear, but also hear with the understanding that it is coming from God. You can't have doubts in it.
No, I don't agree with you.
But okay,
I
but
don't agree with you because
you have to give
we all had so
yes.
much, all of us here, including John today, expressed so nicely that we didn't have clear or solid realization that God is God, Krishna is God, and Prabhupada is pure representative, should be worshipped as good as God. Yet, we were attracted enough by his mercy to follow those instructions, become attracted, and follow for our. And Prabhupada reciprocated with us. Krishna reciprocated with us. As he's reciprocated with me, he's reciprocating with those in ISKCON. I'm fighting with you with this point that this is Maya ISKCON when Prabhupada is active there. That's what I'm fighting about.
Let's not go to the Maya ISKCON part, because
Oh, we will, because that's my whole point.
Next classes next discussions we can take that up, Prabhu, because
I
it's the
specifically told you this was the topic.
management part we are talking about. As far as individuals, whether we Prabhupada Anuga and this and that, that is what.
Then change your sentence to Maya management, Maya GBC if you want to say, not
Then
Maya
let
ISKCON.
us talk about in the next places how to nomenclature and all that. Let's first take up this part, the basic part about how one gets the mercy, not mercy, and all these things about with individuals, we ourselves in our own life and our own practices. How much
Yeah,
we
so initially it's, causeless, meaning you didn't do anything to deserve it. It's only because Krishna loves us and he's reaching out himself within the heart and through Srila Prabhupada, his direct representative. Then, once you have an introduction, it requires to adopt what you've heard and learned and felt from that. And you then start doing the prescribed activities that show that you're serious and that you have faith and believe in the process. And from there, it's, learning and continuing to ask and chant and beg, and at the same time, do the best you can in spiritual life through that sincere endeavor. And at whatever level or capacity you have to do that, whatever your dharma is, whatever your um, whatever your anarthas are, they're all different for all of us. We do our best to overcome them and gradually make progress. So in the beginning, it's causeless. We didn't do anything to deserve it. Then, once we have some level of understanding, we have to act and we have to do the prescribed necessaries. to be able to continue and to grow within that path. And then gradually, Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, through his teachings, bring us along and teach us more. We learn more, we grow, we become more educated. And eventually, Krishna starts taking these anarthas away. We feel the freedom from that. We feel his grace and his mercy by removing these things. And we get the taste. And then once you get the taste, you realize there's nothing in the material world that compares to this. And Krishna is very tricky. In my experience, he gives you the taste and then he takes it away to make you strive for that. It keeps us going, right? But he never lets us go. We fall back, but he never lets us go. Even if, there's an ebb and a flow. It's never just, 100% full speed forward. We're fallible. We make mistakes. We're not strong, especially in Kali Yuga. We have so many defects. But through Krishna's love, Srila Prabhupada's love and mercy and grace, they understand this. They don't ever let us go, even though we may fall back. They'll always pick us back up. They're always after us.
So, Prabhu, this Balaram Prabhu, when you are speaking about this part, no, hearing part, and in your own example, what happened? So, you're Prabhu, you're there, Balaram Prabhu.
Me, yeah, I'm here.
So, see, for all of us, all the devotees, practically everyone who is, I mean, whoever I have met and I have interacted and I have asked them, more or less, if they are coming with the right attitude, no, like Bhakti John Prabhu is talking today, Krishna, when he introduces us to the spiritual master, with that, he gives this understanding also by his causeless mercy that is my extension. He is coming in that form. We don't know the philosophy. We don't know all of these words and these instructions and all these things. Nobody knows, kind of. But we get that basic faith that Srila Prabhupada is like perfect.
Prabhuji, sorry to differ with you, but I have the complete opposite. My experience was complete opposite. That's partly why I'm speaking like this is because it didn't take me until 2.5, 3 years to start to appreciate Prabhupada. And I only started to appreciate Prabhupada and develop a more personal relationship with him when I started to feel, wow, what a wonderful life I had. And then it dawned on me, oh, wow, who gave me this? Prabhupada. Was up until then, I was like, philosophy, what a great philosophy in God, learning about God. So really, even though Prabhupada's the author, I didn't really give any attention to the author at all. It was the philosophy and who God is, my relationship with God.
I beg to differ even in your experience. And what I urge you to do is to really meditate on actually what happened.
How can you differ on my
I
experience?
will, because of the philosophy, no.
I have something to offer here.
You can't.
If I can, let me complete my talk. I'm not because
go ahead. Sorry.
Because Krishna says Brahmand Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. On that basis, I am saying is giving that. Krishna is giving Guru. He will give this understanding also to take shelter of him. So I cannot accept that he will not do that. Now, but
No, wait a minute. I agree with you. Sorry, just
right at the beginning, when we first come in touch with Srila Prabhupada books, we also understand when we start reading, my God, this is great. Maybe we don't understand the person Srila Prabhupada, like you are saying. I can understand that. But we understand the speaker, whoever is speaking, he is perfect. Whatever the knowledge is becoming is perfect.
Yeah, for me, that was God.
Right. Now, if I can go forward from that, if the association in this Maya ISKCON was how it used to be earlier in 66 onwards, when people come, you see the BTGs initial BTDs, if you read, he's a pure devotee. He's coming from the spiritual world. He's a perfect person. I- Only from a pure devotee one can know Krishna. He is living life of God. Like that, it was like there is no doubt in anyone's mind that he is God's representative. So
And
that
same now.
initial faith that this is perfect expands in that association of devotees to very quickly then proceed from this. This never becomes an issue. The shelter is given automatically. But because it
I
went into that association, which was wrong association, that didn't develop to the extent which should have developed, which developed only after 2.5 years. See,
No, wait. Okay.
I have something to offer. Just short, but I
Sorry.
think it'll help. I think it'll help Balaram Prabhu. Somebody asked Prabhupada once. Prabhupada, it seems like a lot when he was building the movement. He said it seems like a lot of the people that are coming are Jewish and Italian. He said, why is that? He said because the Jews are very smart and the Italians are very pious. So my point to you about that is what I was saying earlier, we all have our own propensities, right? Some people are attracted because they're intellectually leaning, and they're attracted by the intellectual side of the philosophy. So they come. That's that's their nature, right? Is to be drawn in by the intellectual side of this incredible philosophy. Then they find out later, about this amazing person, Srila Prabhupada, who gave us this. The pious person is going to come, oh my God, Srila Prabhupada, you know, this is an amazing person. Let me learn what he's given, right? So it's all about, because we're all different, we have these different propensities of either intellectual or piety. We're going to be drawn in so many different ways. And that's the initial attraction. So I don't think it matters. We get there, whether we first or second. The main thing is we get there. Doesn't matter how we get there. If you're an intellectual person, you're going to be naturally attracted from the intellectual side of what he's given us. And if you're a pious person, you're going to just go in and see the wonders of everything that's happening and realize this amazing person and immediately give him all respect. Like you would if you had a relationship with Lord Jesus and all the rest, and then start learning the philosophies. It just doesn't matter as long as we get there, and then we develop our love for Srila Prabhupada first, last, second, in the middle, whatever it is.
but this
you
whole
know,
thing, what you that is
Nilay
not how
Prabhu,
Srila
can I just
Prabhupada.
reply? Can I just reply to John Prabhu, if you don't mind?
Yeah, please go
Actually, thank you so much for bringing that up. And also, Pradyumna has been waiting patiently for a long time, so somehow fit him in. Is actually now you made me have this big realization because, I was born into a Muslim family. So I grew
hmm
up in a Muslim family.
hmm
And generally speaking, this is one of the issues I have, not issues, sorry, one of the difficulties we have dealing with Muslim people. And I think that's why that happened to me with Prabhupada is they come in, generally Muslims, and they're like, no, don't tell me stuff about Guru. Man is man, God is God. So if you're going to tell me about God,
Sure, sure.
and for pretty much, I'm sure I must have been born in a Muslim family previous life. So I've got Muslim, that blood, let's say. So then when I came to Prabhupada, or reading Prabhupada's books, my focus wasn't on the person or the author. It was more
Yeah,
on God, the
sure.
philosophy.
That's
And
your
then
conditioning.
later
Yeah,
on, I broke through, let's say, Prabhupada's helped me break through this line that Muslims will generally have is that
sure.
not
Once you hear
dealing with a
from him, then
human.
it's obvious. It can't be any other way. You have to be a direct representative. You have to be, aligned with Krishna completely to be able to give us such things. It's not possible. Right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's your conditioning. Yeah, it's natural. It's natural for you to come that way.
But
But it doesn't matter,
I
how
differ
you as
from
long as we
both of
get there.
you. I differ from both of you, Prabhu.
Okay.
What you both are saying is correct from the what is happening nowadays. I agree. But this is not how Srila Prabhupada has designed ISKCON, the real ISKCON. It is not. It's not like over so many years it takes like this, like that. This is not how Lord Chaitanya's mercy has been designed like that. What he has designed is that we as soon as we come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, let's say one devotee comes, meets us, the next devotee, that devotee would push us in this consciousness further through that mercy of the association. So that very fast we come to the platform of taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Within 6 months, he says one should get initiated. Why? Because of this. This is so potent. And that is why in 135, when Bhagavad Gita, sorry, Adi Leela 135, where we have been reading, the first thing when talking about Diksha Guru is Srila Rupa Goswami. So soon he starts talking about, see, what is, I first offer my respectful obedience lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual master. This is the first thing he talks in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adila Guru Tattva. Immediately Srila Jiva Goswami starts talking about association with devotees and it reviving one's original rasa. Not even talking about all these struggles, so many years of struggles, what you are speaking about.
Mm. And this is the beginning of.
Right, beginning of the Guru
All right,
Tattva is talking about this. If one
Nimai,
desires, yeah,
can you just like in one
one
or
has
two,
become, because one has become so used to this mediocrity in,
Yeah,
because
I understand what you're saying. That
that,
you that
this is
the
normal
process as prescribed from Prabhupada should be a much quicker process.
and more potent, more faster, more
Yeah, yeah. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Pradyumna, wait.
Yes,
I have a
Pradyumna,
question. Nimai Prabhu, in Prabhupada's direct physical association time,
this is
do
how
we,
it was happening, no?
no, wait, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I disagree with you there. I feel Prabhupada's direct association. I feel that right now.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
feel that all the time.
I fully,
When
I agree
when
with
I'm
that.
in front of his murti, I just for me, he's there.
Yeah,
He's there.
yeah.
He's there.
But
Yeah.
what the point I was going to say with Nimai Pandit is you're saying that the process comes and works much quicker. Like your quicker connection to Prabhupada, your quicker connection to believing, realizing, seeing that Prabhupada is the direct representative of Guru, as good as Guru,
This,
worshipped as
that,
good as Guru. So wait a minute, and they start coming to these higher aspects of devotional practice. But I don't seem to recall that even in Prabhupada's time, let's say, that many of his disciples came to this advanced level of Krishna consciousness.
oh, that is not true. If you should read what I really encourage everyone to read is early Back to Godhead magazines from 67 onwards.
Yeah.
Magazines, if you start reading, devotees are writing, normal devotees, Matajis, everybody are writing. You can see the realization. What we are talking about, discussing, it is
Yeah.
normal. It is
They
normal.
love Srila Prabhupada. Yeah,
Absolutely.
they
Yes,
it's
they are
such
already
a
at this higher platform. They fell down because of the bad association and not understanding this philosophy. But this association is they already was there, Prabhu.
Wait. They fell down because of bad association. So what happened to their association with Prabhupada? If they
That
had such a connection and such a base with Prabhupada, how come that was?
because the bad association can also, again, that we can discuss more. But point is that we'll discuss that bad apple, what happens and how it can corrupt one, but one cannot go down, but it
And one
can.
more question on this topic. So then, if we have devotees who have come in from zero and are taught from the beginning, Prabhupada is a Diksha Guru, as is with Prabhupada Nuga camps and Ridvik camps, and we see, I know, so that some of them go, that should that mean that none of them will go to ISKCON because some of them go to ISKCON, so it shouldn't happen, right?
What is happening is that in this Maya ISKCON, this aspect of taking shelter of Guru is becoming disturbed. Purposefully, they have disturbed it out of envy. So people don't go to Prabhupada, you know. But in
But
the
they,
Prabhupada Nuga community, The sadhu sangha itself is a problem. At least this is they are good with. But sadhu sangha is a problem because of which this doesn't develop also. So his instructions
But this is Maya ISKCON also.
Yeah, in one sense it is, but not in the terms of, no, I won't say Maya ISKCON. It is not even ISKCON right now because it is not formed as an association. Where one would be able to follow the instructions of the spiritual master with with
Oh, it's there. There's so
alone,
many.
alone.
Bangalore is a huge organization.
It's good. No, they are still.
Jaipur, so many
But
groups.
they are
are-
one thing at a time. So if Bangalore, because of the good sadhu sangha and this aspect of following Srila Prabhupada, very soon people are coming to Krishna consciousness and becoming empowered. There, the problem is that the sadhu sangha is not happening with around the world. That's the only missing issue. That issue, if they are able to solve, then sadhu sangha will manifest all over the world nicely.
It's a different topic.
That is another thing we can discuss. But point is that so around the world, sadhu sangha is a tough thing, no? Because of which people are
I
not.
don't understand why it depends on around the world. Why should it
has been
depend on around the
done
world?
Because anyway, we can discuss that. That's a whole topic we can
Yeah,
discuss.
Pradyumna has been waiting for a long time.
Yeah.
Patiently got his hand up and we're just jumping in. Sorry.
Yes, Pradyumna Prabhu.
Yeah, what I have heard in this classes and what I have experienced, I will just tell that just the main thing that Nimai Prabhu is focusing that taking the shelter of the pure devotee. So in the last class, Nimai Prabhu, you already have told that it is not zero. They are also chanting there. But if we comparatively we see that there is some problem is there in taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So my practical, that's just like when if I go there and if I openly tell that Srila Prabhupada is my spiritual master, then there is problem. They even if I chant that Namam Vishnu Pada while chanting, because yeah, Balram too, you also know that nowadays, I don't know, I have heard that they are not chanting many devotees Namam Vishnu Padaya. They are chanting, just like after Jai Shri Krishna. So there is problem in taking shelter.
No. They're chanting Lama Om Vishnu Padaya. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just traveled all around
but-
India for 5 months.
No, but the main thing is that I cannot tell that openly go there, and that that what Nimai Prabhu is telling that before when Prabhupada was present at that time, they were openly that Prabhupada is my spiritual master. So the thing is that comparatively, they are not taking shelter. What he's telling properly taking shelter, because now if we go there, okay, I have taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada, so they will see in a different way. But previously, when Srila Prabhupada was present, they were directly taking shelter. He has given many examples that in Back to Godhead magazine. But nowadays, and one more thing too, two times, even I'm a very simple, I don't know this much philosophy. Two times I was deluded by them. No, that this is not that, because I very intimately friendly, associate with them. So at the time that they suggested me, okay, you take initiation from this Maharaj, okay, this one. I was also convinced. So much then somebody devotees they told me like this, or this is the thing. So you just see, they are directly taking me in place of Srila Prabhupada. You accept another person as your spiritual master. So don't you think they are taking away from that, taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada directly? These two times happened with me. So this is because because Nehemiah Prabhu once told that yes, we can go there, we can attend Mangala Aarti, we can do, but not very intimately. Because as soon as we associate very friendly, then they will just who is the spiritual master. Then okay, no, this we are influenced by them. So in that sense, we can call it.
Why aren't you influencing them?
We are trying. We are trying that thing. For that, we are conducting this class that become strong, and very strongly we can present that Srila Prabhupada if we directly take shelter.
Okay, Leo Prabhu has been totally silent. Nobody has been letting him speak at all.
Dr. Leo, Hare Krishna, where are you, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
My humble obeisances to everyone, to all the Vaishnavas, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, glories of Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, no, I've just been like a sponge right now. That's all. That's pretty much. I really have little input, but there was a lot of points that already were speaking beforehand. So I guess in regards to Prabhupada's mercy overall, it's something that's not simple. It's something that's very complex, I would say. I would say just like karma itself. So I don't know exactly the workings behind it, but I could just analyze that based upon like scripture and everything. So when it comes down to the mercy that Prabhupada has given to you could say Maya, Iskan, and everything else, it's up to a certain level. So if like if a person goes to a Kanishta Adhikari, they'll just get up to that level. That's from what I understood. So that's pretty much mercy, you could say, in a sense. But Prabhupada's probably having this, and to a certain degree, to a certain point, because there will be a point where you know like Pradumna Prabhu, he would go and then he would go to these temples and probably interact and engage. And the good thing is that he could actually philosophically in many type of ways show us the correct path, because there will be a tipping point where it's just gonna be the correct way and how it should be. Because in the beginning, as everyone was saying, when Prabhupada's words are nectar, this and that, and then after Prabhupada, or even during when Prabhupada was there was some that was doing corrections, changings in the books, and then now they're not even introducing Prabhupada's books anymore. They're giving like other people's other devotees Bhagavad Gita's as it is as their own version. So yeah, different things have changed. So for the time being, I could just say that I'm really not too well versed as well scripture, but this is just from my analyzation from this whole conversation.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very good. Sarita Mataji, you have something to say? Mute, mute, mute. You are mute. आप म्यूट पर हो. No, you are on mute. Remove the mute. Can you remove the mute?
Can you
माता जी
type it?
कोने में देखो अनम्यूट है, वो आप दबाओगे ना तो
Maybe
आवाज
type
आएगी.
it. Maybe type it or something.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Ah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All to for all devotees.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी.
Hare Krishna. All are all should do your practice, not only discussion. No,
Say again. All should do your practice and what?
not only discussions.
What does it mean?
We
Nimai,
should
tell
practice
them.
also.
She's just fighting, arguing so much.
Well, practice is good, but discussion is necessary.
Yeah. But it is, I think, mainly we are in doubt.
discussion, gradually doubt will also go, and also service. You're correct.
Which doubt are we talking about? What kind of doubt? Which doubt? Doubt about what?
Means your faith, your what you call Shraddha means what Nimai? What is Shraddha?
Faith.
Faith. Because devotion is only faith.
Mhm. Mhm.
No?
Faith is very important. Yeah, it's big. I mean, without faith, you can't really make any advancement. You know, that has to be there. The
Pardon?
faith, and then the faith is very important. Faith has to be there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the primary ingredient. Without this, I don't think anyone could make advancement. Um, I think that's a primary, fundamental, necessary, aspect of spiritual life. Without that, I just can't imagine how you could make any advancement. Unless you have, you
Means
born in a situation without a good environment or instruction, but you have a lot of previous good credit, pious credit, then maybe Krishna will pull you out. That could happen too, but faith is important. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Balaram Prabhu. It's very nice. Without the discussion, this thing will not evolve. My understanding is becoming so much better with each discussion.
My one objection is there. You every time you said that is Maya is gone. Don't underestimate other persons.
Maya is
Maybe, yeah, maybe some fault is there, some many fault is there, but don't uh, what should I say? Don't
Don't make a blanket statement.
yeah.
So what you're saying, it's a bit heavy.
Oh,
They are means maybe on the lower category, maybe something fault, some good thing, but there is something which is expected so much.
Something that is what so much?
Everything has expulsion.
Expansion.
Yeah.
No, is that less like
But
real?
this is not a good logic. Expulsion is not a criteria, but maybe something wrong in that. We have to cultivate that atmosphere that they can remove their fault, or let it be. You have elevate when we elevate ourselves, then maybe okay. Oh, then maybe